Rasta, I tell you.
24/7 we no sleep at all.
What him gonna do you now?
Some boy are going like they want to fight against Energy Radio 1.
What? Fire for the.
You are listening to Fun City Radio. Fun City Radio and FunCityRadio.com.
This is Energy Radio 1, and here is your Saturday schedule. 7 a.m. BBC News, 10 a.m. DJ Rain Cloud from out of Toronto with the musical edition. 12 p.m. DJ Chris, the specialist representing Brooklyn, featuring the special delivery. DJ Remix at 3 p.m. streaming from Canada with the Mix Energy. At 5 p.m. it's Fenton Troy out of Jamaica, New York with Pick Up Your Step. 7 p.m. Mark and Lisa with the Night Groove out of Florida. And at 9 p.m. DJ Caution out of Arizona. Make sure you tune in.
Greetings! This is DJ Ayana from Soyeni Sound. Do you want to hear the latest and the greatest in dance music? Well, tune in every Friday for the Global Dance Party. Right here on Glue FM, streaming live from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's DJ Ayana and the Global Dance Party. Keep it live.
They say that if you want to hide anything from the average person, including the keys to their mental shackles, you should put it in a book. Are you brave enough to get Patrick Gaynor's Planet Hurt, Volume 1, The Idea and the Process, the greatest book ever written about your life? Find it in various forms on planethurtbook.com, Amazon, and all reputable online platforms where books are available. You'll be glad you did.
Join us live every Tuesday from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Glue FM for Minding Your Business with me, Attorney Rishma Eckert, to discuss the law and your business. Email us with your questions at info@mybshow.com. And remember, success comes from minding your business. The content on Minding Your Business is for informational and educational purposes only and should not be construed as specific legal advice. This show discusses general legal issues affecting business owners. Opinions of the guests are not necessarily that of the show. If you need assistance with your specific legal issue, please consult with a licensed attorney.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Minding Your Business. Thanks to our streaming partners, Full Force Radio in Kentucky, Success Radio in Canada, the English Connection Media in UK, and Energy Radio 1 in New York. Shout out to all of our other partners in Jamaica, Africa, Asia. We really do appreciate you guys. For episodes of Minding Your Business, feel free to check out Glue FM TV on YouTube, and you can text your questions live to 862-215-3979 and send your inquiries to info@mybshow.com. Rishma, hi. Hi, Miss Tony.
How are you?
Good. So I'm going to let you do the intro and your quote of the week.
Of course. Welcome to another episode of Minding Your Business. I am your host, Rishma Eckert. I'm an attorney at Eckert Law, PLLC. And before we get into a very exciting episode today, I'd like to go through a couple of housekeeping things that I do every week because I want to help you, our business owners out there. Remember, the PPP, Paycheck Protection Program, is still available. I believe they've extended the deadline to the end of May. So if you need assistance in your business and you need to apply for PPP, please go to sba.gov. All the instructions are there in terms of eligibility and how to, the forms are there, eligibility is there, everything is there that you need to help you out. So if you've been hit by the pandemic and you need extra help, the government is there for funding. Also, if you would like to be considered for MYB Small Business Spotlight, like we're having today, and I'll get into that, please go ahead and email us at info@mybshow.com. We try to do, at the beginning of every month, we highlight a local business to give them an opportunity to be seen, well, I guess globally, right, Lisa? We're in Florida, we're in New York, Kentucky, Jamaica, Asia, what am I forgetting? The UK, Canada.
Yes.
We have streaming partners everywhere. So this is the place that you want to be to get your products out there, your services out there. So again, email at info@mybshow.com if you want to be considered for our MYB Small Business Spotlight. We're also doing Ask MYB, where you can email me and have me cover a topic that I've not already covered, or if I've covered a very interesting topic, for example, I get a lot of questions on the copyrights and the trademarks. If you would like for me to do another show on those topics, please go ahead and email at info@mybshow.com. We do read your emails. We are here to help you and to make sure that we provide the resources that we can to help the small businesses in our neighborhoods. Quote of the week, extra special applicable quote of the week by Jay Stanford. He says, health is a state of body, wellness is a state of being. And the reason that I have that quote today is because our MYB Small Business Spotlight today is Oshun Movement, Inc. And we have the founder and CEO, Oshun Marcella Tony, with us today. And I just want to say to our listeners out there, every MYB Small Business Spotlight we've had so far was focusing on resources for your business, PEO, conflict resolution, something to help you with your business resources. This is the first MYB Small Business Spotlight where we're focusing on you, the entrepreneur, your wellness, your well-being, your state of mind, your entire body, mind, and soul. And I'm sure Oshun is just itching to get in here to talk about that. So welcome, Oshun. We're going to start by having you introduce yourself. Tell us what your name is, your company, and give us all your social medias and whatnot so our listeners can look you up as we have this discussion today.
Sure. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this opportunity, Rishma. Thank you.
You're welcome.
My name is Oshun Marcella Tony, and I am the founder, as Rishma said, of Oshun Movement, Inc. It is a nonprofit, and there are 5 entities underneath Oshun Movement. So I know that many of you have seen them on social media, one of them being Great Spirit Honey, and that is on Instagram as well as Facebook, and then Oshun Movement, Inc., also on Facebook and Instagram. I do have a website that is going to be, that is currently under construction and will be launching April 30th. And you can look for that at www.beinghealthyathome.com.
How very applicable for now, right?
Yes.
And you're coming in at the perfect time. I was just having this discussion with my husband too about, man, this pandemic has really done us wrong in terms of our habits and our lifestyle that we had before. We really got to try to recheck ourselves and get back into a healthier lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So I know you said you have several products and several services.
Yes.
Go ahead and expand upon that, because you have
Sure.
one that's really, really interesting that I want you to tell our listeners.
So first, let me just go through the services.
Yes.
The services that I provide, Being Healthy at Home is a service. So under Being Healthy at Home, it really is an educational hub, providing people with different routines, possibilities of different methods of how they operate. Right now, our thinking and our patterns, could use a little alignment. So this will actually be able to show people on YouTube. It'll be a YouTube channel as well as a website. So people have access to different products that can help align us and provide us with the highest quality of life that we could possibly have. So that's one of them. Go ahead.
And when you talk about the lifestyle, so are you giving us like tips or suggestions that we should be doing in our daily routines?
Yes.
So getting our minds right, getting our bodies right.
Absolutely. So for instance, the practice of meditation, that's something that could really, really help people start their day. And there's a really easy practice. So I would be demonstrating and having people demonstrate for you different habits and techniques that I find that are really beneficial, as well as products, because there are lots of things out here, I think, especially with this pandemic, that we are shopping, trying to find quick fixes. And we're spending our money and spinning our wheels. But I've done that research. I've done my homework. So I would like to be able to provide people with real research behind, the suggestions, real research behind the intentions and the modifications of lifestyles and habits that really work. It's really about aligning ourselves, Rishma.
Mm-hmm. when you say align, for our listeners out there, what do you mean by the alignment of ourselves? I mean, I have an idea of what I mean by alignment
Sure.
because I am sort of, I have a foot in your door where I listen to my chakra music to be
Yes.
aligned, and I
Yes.
do that type of stuff. So
Great.
for
Great.
our listeners, I mean, it does come, a lot of it comes from like old Eastern philosophies, which my ancestry is. So I'm
As
very in
is
tune,
mine. Yes.
as is
As is
yours.
mine.
Perfect.
Yes. As is
So
mine.
then we have a, I guess, a more historical and understanding of that
Yes.
sort of stuff. But
I
for our
think that.
listeners out there, when you say align yourself, let's define that for them.
Okay, so many of us align ourselves with a tradition. Many of us align ourselves with a habit, like getting up, going to work. That's an alignment, and your life revolves around that, right? And there are many other areas possibly that you're successful in, right, in your life. But then there are some areas that you're not so successful in your life. So alignment just means that we are taking the areas that we need a little bit more and pushing them to the center, and the areas that we're greater in, we're just making sure that they stay maintained and balance us. Alignment is really making sure that our house, which is us, is in order. That's
That,
alignment from our
and
head
that's
to our toes.
that's wonderful, because you're absolutely right. Something's got to give if you're a busy, your business owner, and you have a family
Absolutely.
and you have work, then you have all the exterior stuff that you have to deal with, all the
Yes,
pandemic stuff as well.
yes, yes,
You know, you really get out of whack in terms of focusing too much maybe on one thing. So I love that you use the word alignment, because I think it
mhm,
perfectly sums up everything that you're trying to do. When I say mind, body, spirit, it's sort
yes,
of like that with the alignment.
yes,
I love that.
absolutely. Thank
And
you, thank you.
before you get into your other products, why don't you let our listeners know a little bit about your background, which I think is also very, very
Okay,
interesting. Your
sure,
experience in this type of field, why you decided to have this type of business. Because I think it's,
absolutely.
before we move on to the other things that you're doing, it's good to have that background.
Sure, sure, sure. So growing up, there was no one that looked like me that was advising me. There was no one that was teaching me. There was no one that was disciplining me. There was no one that was guiding me that was brown, black, or tan. And it was very disheartening trying to find my own identity within the midst of these professionals that I felt that I was being very misled and misguided. So I made it my business, truly, ocean moving,
Yes,
literally,
literally.
and researched, went to school. And so I am a certified chef. I'm degreed and licensed. I'm a healthy gourmet private chef. I am also a personal trainer with different certifications. I'm a massage therapist. I'm an esthetician. I'm a beekeeper. I'm a motivational speaker, and I'm also an intimacy coach. So over the last 35 years, I have certified, licensed, and degreed myself in the areas of my expert, of the areas that I really felt that we carry universal law as opposed to man-made laws, so that we understand that our body really is a temple and that this is our house. And I wanted to really have grassroots, if I could use that word, going back to nature, because that's really what it's about. Food is medicine, Rishma. I mean, we know that.
Yes.
And I think a lot of us know that. Unfortunately, though, with the hustle and bustle and the different things that we are really put our attention towards, we forget that food is medicine.
Right. That's a fantastic answer. And one of the reasons that I gravitated towards having this connection to having you on the show is because I can speak for my own family, but in our communities, and I mean minority communities,
Yes,
Caribbean communities, because I'm
yes,
100% West Indian, so I'm saying
yes,
Caribbean
yes,
communities, we've always known about the foods that you should eat to do certain things. It's, we've sort of grown up in that tradition of
yes,
using different fruits and vegetables for different things.
absolutely.
So it's like, I hate to say it, but we move to America and everything becomes confused and
Adulterated,
muddles.
yes,
Yeah, and we sort of get misdirected in a way, and that's one of the things I miss when we go to Belize. We stop at the local fruit vendor. There's one on like every corner somewhere. You get stuff that is picked fresh, that it tastes
absolutely.
better. It's just makes you feel
Mhm,
better. So
mhm.
we've always sort of been in line with that. So I love what you're doing, and I wanted to have
Thank
you on the
you.
show because that is sort of our demographic of who's listening. And I think that they
Yes.
would really connect with what you're doing as well.
Thank you. So one thing also under being healthy at home is, as a chef, I really try to cook food for your soul as opposed to soul food. And I say that with love. Even, Caribbean, Jamaican, Native American, African American, Belizean, it doesn't really matter. We are cultural people. Hispanics, we're cultural people. So we still are bound to our traditions. And sometimes those traditions keep us limited. And I really want to touch base on that, during, maybe not today, but during being healthy at home, so that people can have an understanding that we should also broaden our reach and expand our understanding of what nutrient-rich foods really are here, not just, in our homeland, because
Right.
we are
That's
here.
wonderful. Yeah, that's wonderful. And I will definitely be looking at your YouTube episodes for that, because now that I have my own kids to take care of, I want to make sure that they are getting what they need. And I'm sure a lot of our listeners are in the same position where we can't transplant them back to our home countries.
Right.
We're here now. So we have to make do with what we have now and just make sure that we're doing the best for them. So yes, that's a great background. Let's move on to the services, because we talked about a little bit
being
about
healthy at home. Okay,
being
so
healthy at home. Yes.
the next one is called SOFA. So I invite you, Rishma, and everyone out here listening, to get off your couch and get on your sofa. Safe outdoor fitness activities. Woo! Let's move our bodies.
Yeah.
We don't have to exercise necessarily. I think that word has been played out. I think diets and exercise are played out. There are ways that we can just move. You know what I mean? Just stretching, things that we don't do, move our shoulders, play games that we forgot about playing. Really be able to increase our vitality, increase our fun, increase our relationships. The pandemic or the plandemic as I call it, has separated us. Truly, truly, truly separated us. And for many, 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 people are left out and ostracized. So SOFA invites you to come outside. It invites you to breathe in safe distancing, of course, but be active again. One of the biggest things, Rishma and everyone, that we are deficient in is vitamin D. Just so we all understand that. Vitamin D. And we have been forced to stay home and stay inside. And many of us are in that tradition now. It's like common. I watch people put their masks on when they're outside and in their cars. We need to be outside breathing air, not carbon monoxide. So SOFA invites you to get off your couch, come out and play.
And that sounds so much fun. And would you be having like initiatives, like
yes, absolutely,
like a walk day or something like that?
Yes. So basically, what would happen is I would be able to have a calendar and let you know where I'm going to be. Like I'd be in different places. And then for those who can't join me there, then I can be virtual. You can, it'll be able to be zoomed in. And we need to be able to do it in our home as well as, you don't have to go to the park. You can go on your patio, you can go in your backyard. And,
absolutely.
Anywhere, just get outside, open your windows even, and just breathe some fresh air. So it kind of, it's guided and it's safe and it's also formulated because it still is, I'm still wanting everyone to use the right muscles and to use the right form, while you're having fun and while we're doing this movement. So it is guided. Okay. And for those of us who are, a little bit more, maybe have a higher level of physicality, there will be those in place too. So for all ranges of motion.
Mm-hmm. That is great. I look forward to that indeed. Thank of course, at the end of this, you're going to have to give all your socials again.
Yes,
so that people can tune in and follow you.
Yes, so and the last service.
Mm-hmm. Your elixirs. I'm waiting for the elixirs.
No, not yet. Not yet. It's coming. Okay. It's coming. It's coming.
Go ahead.
The last service that Ocean Movement offers is Essential Health. So I feel that we are ignorant in a lot of ways about sensuality. We have been over sensationalized with sexuality. We have been shamed about sexuality. We have been shamed about intimacy. We have been shamed about our bodies, and no more. It should be no more. It's 2021. So Essential Health is a platform where it's safe and guided. I'm working with a few different doctors in different communities, and we will sit and we will talk to different groups of women about sensuality, about self-pleasure, about touch, about being expressive about what your needs are, understanding who we are as individuals, who you are as a soul, who we are. I think that we take that for granted, and we allow other people to manipulate and guide us and dictate
And
who we are
define us.
and define us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
I love
essential
that.
health, yes, thank you, kind of gives us the freedom and gives us the permission to really give us ourselves love.
Now, this is for men and women too, right?
Yes,
This is not
absolutely.
just women. Okay.
No,
I want to just
absolutely.
make
Yes.
sure that we make that
Absolutely.
distinction.
No, thank you very much for
Yes.
making that distinction. Absolutely, it is for men and
Because
women.
I'm shaking my head. I see Lisa shaking her head, and I just, I hope Mark is out there shaking his head too.
Yes, yes. And
That
we
it's
have
for men and
discussions,
women.
yes, we have discussions, and some of them are couples, some of them are all male, some of them are all female, and it really is geared towards just opening up and experiencing and expanding our understanding.
Absolutely. That's great.
Thank
Are
you.
the elixirs?
Now, those were just the services.
Those
so
are
the
the
services
services.
are under my, okay, so Ocean Movement is nonprofit. I just want to say that. So the services are under nonprofit because I think that everyone deserves my time, and time costs money. And a lot of people can't afford my time. So by being nonprofit, I'm able to reach people and educate people.
Right.
So the elixirs and my honey are for profit.
Gotcha.
So WET, I would invite everyone to get wet with me. So WET stands for Water Enhanced Therapeutic Treatment. And I came out with WET, honestly, about 3 years ago. I was on my way to be a really successful chef, and I had a lipoma. A lipoma is a fat cell. And it was right here on my shoulder. And I went to the hospital and they removed it. And in doing so, they cut my nerve. So I was in unbelievable pain and not able to move, and wearing this brace for 3 years.
Wow.
3 years. 3 years I wore this brace. Every day I went to therapy. I've had 26 different doctors and MRIs, and all types of different people thought that they could help me. But of course, nobody can help, because medicine truly is just having you live with your symptoms. I just want to be clear with that. Medicine is a business. And for everyone who is out there in medicine, God bless you. However, it's a business. So I needed to find some type of relief, and I couldn't find any. And I'm not someone who takes medicine at all. I don't take a Tylenol. I don't do any of those types of things at all. So it was horrible for me to have to take medication, but I did it because I was in such pain. And I had to understand, I believe, what people really have to go through. If I'm sitting here telling you that this is who I am, I'm a preventable disease specialist, but I've never gone through anything, then who am I, right? So for 3 years, I was in such pain, I can't even tell you that my business just stopped. I had no business whatsoever until I started reaching into myself, meditating again, getting off all the medication the doctors had me on. I went to the doctor who had the surgery and I forgave her. That's what I did. I forgave her. And in that release, WET was born, because currency is real. What we think about most really does happen, Rishma. And I thought about my pain and my lack and how much I absolutely manifested it and made it worse. And when I released it, it was just everything came, everything that I knew came to me. I gave myself permission to heal again. And it was wonderful. So WET emerged from that. Again, WET stands for Water Enhanced Therapeutic Treatment. So I have 4 elixirs. The first one is for focus. It is soursop. I'm sure everyone's familiar with soursop.
Love soursop.
Okay, so soursop is anti-cancer, anti-inflammation. So those 2 elements are huge. And then we have memory, focus, and anti-depression, and nerve conduction. So that was one of the first elixirs that I created, and drank it and drank it and drank it and drank it. And I'm here to tell you, I can move, I can do everything. I'm a gymnast, so I wasn't able to do things for 3 years. And now I spent Easter with my grandchildren. We were on the parallel bars. I can hold my body weight again. I can hold a glass in my hand. I mean, it was that bad, Rishma. I couldn't
Wow.
hold anything. So Clitoria azul tea, that is what that is called.
Okay.
Clitoria azul tea. So Clitoria is a flower. I'm going to show you.
Okay.
Okay, it is actually a flower, and it is blue in color, and it is like a cobalt blue, like you have aqua on. If you could imagine like that cobalt rich color, that jewel
Yes.
color.
Yes.
And the taste is, it just tastes like a flower. So it's just wonderful. So you're drinking it, and all of a sudden you just kind of feel a little sense of calm come over you. Feel a little sense of like, oh, okay, I can focus a little bit better. And of course, the added part of the anti-inflammation and anti-cancer, come on, it's a win-win, you know? So what I'd like to do is just read some of the benefits if we have a moment,
Sure.
okay? All right. So Clitoria perna tea, that's what it's called. It's an actual flower. So it is an aphrodisiac. It has sedative properties. It is nootropic, which means it's a tranquilizer if you need to be, you know, sedated a little bit. Anti-stress, anti-depression, anti-convulsive, and a memory enhancer. Those are the benefits from just the Clitoria flower. The benefits from soursop, I know a lot of us are aware of some of them, but I'd like to tell you some more of them. That boosts our immune system, of course. It does reduce inflammation. It helps to fight bacteria, which we all have, just so we're clear. We all have bacteria. It stabilizes blood sugar. It also is an antioxidant, and it improves gastrointestinal health. So anyone who has any kind of gut situation should be definitely ingesting soursop. Now, one thing I also want to tell you about soursop, and I don't know if anyone is aware of this, but it treats parasites. So for people who eat a lot of flesh, any kind of flesh, we have parasites. It just happens. And nobody really wants to talk about it, but we do. So soursop will treat and kill parasites. It also purifies the blood and treats herpes. So that's not something that we talk about often, you
Really?
know? Yeah. So there's a lot of myths and questions out, you know, that I would like to disparage and give some truth to at some point in time also.
That's why I think it's really important that you have that YouTube channel. That's going to be
Yes.
fantastic
Thank
for getting
you.
that
Thank you.
information out there.
Thank you.
We of course we know about soursop from the
Yes.
Caribbean, but
Of
I've always
course.
known it as anti-cancer.
Yes.
For an anti-cancer treatment.
Yes.
That's sort of the thing that has kind of been marketed towards.
Right.
But knowing the others, I mean, I didn't.
So I think what happens too is, even though we are of whatever culture we are from, the continual use of what we know, we are lacking. You know, like a cup of Clitoria tea or a cup of Clitoria azul tea should be something everyone should be drinking. You know, put some senna in it, put something that you know to put in.
I definitely like
cinnamon.
the anti-stress
Yes.
part of that.
Yes.
The calming anti-stress. It makes me feel like I should be drinking one of your elixirs every night just to calm myself down with the hustle and bustle of, you know, everything we do
Absolutely,
during the day.
Absolutely. And that's kind of my routine. I do drink one in the morning. I drink like 16 ounces of my Clitoria tea. And let me just say this to you. All of the elixirs start off with alkaline water. So, and I do start off with 10.5, because if anybody is aware of how alkalinity works, is once it becomes oxidized, the alkalinity and the pH drops down. So I start at the highest pH because of the processing. I still want it to be alkaline when it comes to you. Okay, so I start off at 10.5, and by the time it comes to you and it's bottled, it's 8.5. So the next wet elixir is sea moss. And each gallon of elixirs hold 8 16-ounce bottles. So each gallon has 2 cups of bloomed moss. That's a lot of moss. So it is a lot of moss. However, because again, I am an alchemist and a chef, I'm able to turn it into something that's really palatable and drinkable and tastes amazing without losing its integrity. So it's the process in which I'm able to keep its integrity. So this is moss and key lime, alkaline water, and my honey. Each one of my elixirs also is sweetened only with great spirit honey. If you are a vegan and you choose not to have honey for whatever reason, then I will make it raw for you with no honey whatsoever.
Okay, so these are made to order. So someone orders them from you and then you make them,
They
or
can
do you have
customize,
them?
but no, okay, so these are, no, so these are marketable right now. They're on the
Okay.
market, okay? I do have many people though that have specific ailments or diseases that may want something different. I really want to consult with people if they're trying to get off medication, or if they've been told that they have a disease or they've got cancer already. I really want to consult with you so that I'm giving you the most education that I possibly can about how to proceed, so that we both, success. We want success, Rishma.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the next one is the organizer. So the organizer is, it's really thick. It's like a rich red, ruby red. And this one is for blood purification. It's to reduce diabetes. It cleanses, detoxifies, purifies, hydrates, and nourishes your spleen, liver, pancreas, bladder. What am I missing? Gallbladder, kidneys. So as melanated people, again, being deficient in vitamin D, we tend to also have a high rate of renal failure. Our kidneys and our liver, they're just overused and they're overprocessed, and we don't do much about it until it's too late, or until we have an ache or a pain, and then we have to get on medication. So this is about prevention. This is all about prevention, right? And so I'm trying to prevent anything and continue this next 30, 40 years of my journey as healthy as I possibly can. And then the final one is called Medicine Man. This specifically is for our men, okay? There's not a lot out here, I think, right now for melanated men. I think there's a peanut punch and, some other tiger nut or some other koala, something, but a lot of it's processed. So the ingredients that are in this are from Ghana, Africa, the three main ingredients. So we have tiger nut, Priscillius africanus, and baobab. Those are the three main ingredients. And this one is specifically to increase their vitality, balance their hormones. A lot of men don't think that that's important, and we don't know about that, ladies, and it really is.
I think this is the first time I've ever heard anyone mention balancing hormones for men.
Yes,
every single product out there is women are emotional and hormonal and everything, but I've never heard that for men.
So if we really look at history, there's been a lot of chemical and hormonal imbalance in our melanated men. And that becomes a problem. We don't really talk about it. It's kind of a taboo. So that's for another show. but this product right here is to balance their hormones, to reduce their cholesterol, to increase their positive HDL, to make sure that their vitality and their stamina is strong, to make sure that they're not sluggish, to remove the sludge, because men typically don't eat well. They just don't, and they work a lot, and they eat and then they sleep, or they eat and then they sit. So they're not active. So there's a lot of buildup in their bodies. So this helps to remove the buildup naturally. This is not a laxative to any degree. None of the elixirs are. It's just nutrients. But I think that the marketing that most men really like about this, and this is proven, just be ready. Longer, stronger erections, more stamina, eradication of enlarged prostate, diminished symptoms of erectile dysfunction disorders. So I think that when I say those things, a lot of melanated men feel they don't have those issues. And I find that it's a discussion that needs to be had, because there has to be balance. And even though some of our men are maybe well endowed or perform well in their eyes, there's still a lack and there's still an imbalance. So this is really truly to balance our men and to prevent anything from happening. Right. So this should be taken I tell everyone, all of these should be taken, you dose, right? So you get it in you. You get all of it in you once because your system has to be detoxified. It needs to be nourished, hydrated, and impregnated, right? Because once you're impregnated, things begin to grow. So we want all of the bad to go out of the cells and all of the good nutrients to come in and multiply. So we want to get one of them in us, and then we dose according to, what our lifestyle is. So I drink 2 to 4 ounces of the Irish moss every day. I drink 2 to 4 ounces of the organizer every day. And I drink 16 to 24 ounces of the Clitoria every day.
Okay.
Because that's what I need.
Right. That was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
What are your suggested uses? Because
right.
I mean, it's
none of it can harm you, Rishma.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Right. It's all natural, which
it
is what I love.
is.
And another thing I want to say before I lose my train of thought is that I love the fact that you're tackling taboo issues. I really do. Because we tend to stay in our little boxes of what it is that we're, society wants to hear about, or what we think is gonna, be interesting for someone to talk about.
Yes.
But I love the fact that you're dealing with taboo issues. And you're right, it's 2021. I mean, if we can't be out there saying what it is, especially after this pandemic, where we see that life is so short and so fragile, that we want to make sure that we make the best of it. And
absolutely,
why not use your voice? Why not tackle these taboo issues? I absolutely love that. I really do.
Thank you.
There's very few people out there, except for like the shock jock people, the ones who say it just to be salacious or just to be controversial. But you're not doing that. You're doing this in the way that, look, this is important for our community. It's important for our health. We have to talk about these issues. And I love that. I actually really love that.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. I did want to say really quickly, I didn't, I kind of skated over the organizer, because this right here, having that it does so many different things in all of our organs, I just wanted to go through a few of the ingredients so people can understand, okay? So hibiscus, that increases cardiac health, lowers cholesterol, and assists with weight loss. Nettle leaf, that is a natural diuretic. It flushes our kidneys and removes kidney stones. It also regulates blood sugar. There is also red clover, which assists in cancer prevention, reducing symptoms of asthma, chronic upper respiratory health. It also reduces symptoms of premenstrual. So we've got to kind of get, some of that attached. I mean, talking about that too. It also helps with hot flashes.
Wow. What is that one?
So this is the organizer.
The organizer.
The organizer, yes, okay. And then we have cinnamon. I know a lot of people know what cinnamon is, but I don't know if they know what the benefits are. So it is definitely very beneficial for arthritis. It's very great for boosting our brain and activity power. So if you feel sluggish, if you have anyone who has dementia or Alzheimer's that runs in your family, start getting some cinnamon sticks in your water, in your tea. Okay. It also alleviates gas. Gas is not something that we talk about a lot, but I tell you, everybody has it, and there's a way to alleviate it. So we can drink some of the organizer to help with IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, as well as gas and flatulence. It helps with nausea as well as digestion, and helps to fight yeast infection. That's all cinnamon. That's cinnamon.
Wow.
Okay. Also in here is yellow dock. It helps to treat anemia. A lot of us are anemic. It cleanses our blood. It also fights bacteria infection and will help to remove and treat psoriasis. Burdock root is in here. Burdock root fights cold, fights flu, fights COVID. High in iron. It protects our kidneys and our liver. It assists with arthritis and is an antioxidant. There's milk thistle in here. Milk thistle reduces the insulin resistance in our bodies. Please know that, diabetics. It also limits the spread of cancer. It reduces cholesterol and supports liver health. It treats liver problems and eradicates asthma. That is milk thistle. Turmeric, I know we're all familiar with turmeric. Anti-inflammatory, it's a cancer food. Turmeric is rich in vitamin B3, 2, B6, C, and E. It also is really great for magnesium. As we're getting older, a lot of us are losing our magnesium and losing our calcium. Turmeric is a great replacement for that. And the final ingredient in here is beetroot powder. So it prevents and treats cancer. It improves our circulation. It protects against heart disease. It increases our energy, detoxifies our liver, detoxifies our gallbladder, decreases our sugar cravings. Beetroot powder provides instant energy. It helps with dementia, so it helps with, memory. It also helps with brain function and helps with weight loss. So those are all of the ingredients in that one.
Wow, in that one little bottle, huh?
Yes,
Is that the one you
bottle.
say that you drink 16 ounces every day of?
No. So the 16 ounces is the clitoria. That's the one with
the stress and
the stress for me. For me,
okay.
It's the stress. Yeah.
So
I drink 4 to 6
man,
ounces of this.
these are a lot of ingredients within your elixirs. I knew I wanted to hear more about the elixirs. It's so very interesting.
Thank you.
How long did it take for you to come up with these formulas and put them together? And I know you said you've done a lot of research, but in terms of the mixing and the the
3
formulas,
years.
3 years.
So
Wow.
so again, having the what seemed to be a horrible situation with my arm allowed me to be still and to really, get down to grassroots. Grassroots and bark and trees and flowers and bees.
Literally
and get back to
grassroots.
what
Yeah.
yes literal
Yes.
literal grassroots. We talk about grassroots, but garbage in, garbage out, Rishma.
Yeah.
And so these are things that we have in our backyards. A lot of us, we grow a lot of them, we pass by them, maybe we see them in the market and we don't know what they are. Now you can just open up the bottle and drink it down.
I love that idea. And the
So
elixirs, and I love your tagline too. Get wet with me.
Get wet with me.
So that is a part of the for-profit that you're
Yes.
doing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And
So
the last, I have my honey.
yes. Oh yes, your honey.
Yes,
Let's
my
talk
honey.
about the honey.
Okay, let's talk about the honey. So Great Spirit honey is organic. It is raw. So the difference between store-bought honey and raw honey is the processing. So not anything, but most things that you find in the store are 10% honey, and the rest is a syrup or a honey syrup water or a sugar water or some type of syrup, like a maple syrup. It only has to be 10%. So when honey says pure, you're not getting raw honey. Okay, so the benefits from honey versus sugar, of course, are that sugar is a drug and honey is not.
Yeah.
So that's number one.
That's number one.
Number one.
Yes.
Sugar is a drug and honey is not. Honey is a food and it's a superfood. They found live honey in King Tut's tomb. That's a lot of years to be in a tomb underground or in a sarcophagus and open it up and still have it be reading as live. So the benefits to honey are monumental, truly, truly monumental. So not only is it 40 times sweeter than sugar, so you don't need that much, our body actually processes it and utilizes it, and it increases it balances our insulin as opposed to increasing our insulin levels. As sugar does none of that. Sugar just makes our system crave different things and provides a runway.
And then you crash afterwards.
And then you crash.
And
Exactly.
then you have that
Rishma.
sugar crash afterwards.
Exactly.
I'm telling you, one of my favorite things is sitting down with a nice cup of tea with some honey. Yes. I mean, that has just been one of my go-to calmnesses. But you're right about the honey, because I've bought certain honeys and I don't like the taste. And I would use it in my tea, and it's probably in my shelf somewhere because I never used it again. And it has this weird taste. And I think that having grown up in the Caribbean where we would go and actually get the honey filled in the bottles.
Oh yeah.
Right, like we would have it filled and we would always have that in our house. So I'm used to that taste. And so I buy the little bears or whatever, and I put it in my tea and I go, oh no, now I've ruined my cup of tea because I can't drink this. It just it tastes horrible. But yeah, I guess I didn't realize that there was, when it says pure honey, that it's not pure
raw honey. No, it's not raw honey. Right, okay.
Right.
So anything that is pure.
I think that's the distinction.
It is a distinction. Then that's another thing is that we use a lot, not we are, I think, used to hype words, like raw, like sugar-free, like, 0 calories, all those words. And then if you turn over, which we still don't in 2021, turn
You
over
see the
and
long
read.
list of ingredients at the back of,
However, a lot of
Indeed.
times we don't even know what they mean. We don't even know what they mean. However, if it says sugar-free and there's anything that has sucrose, sucralose, dextrose, anything like that, aspartame, trivia, stevia, any of that, that's sugar. And they're adding things to it. So honey provides us with, it's a superfood. It's an antioxidant. So if you were Rishma, were in a desert or, anywhere in a jungle and we had only honey, we could survive for 30 days just on honey. If we didn't have water, we could survive just on honey. It also heals wounds. I have poured honey into people who have had lesions due to diabetes and their skin has healed itself.
That I did know.
Right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I've cut myself as a chef, like cut myself and bled and poured honey into it and no scar. I mean, it really is amazing. Yeah. It's a great hydration, it's great for hydrating our skin. It's nice for a facial. It's edible. So if you get a cut, it's antibacterial too. A lot of benefits for honey. So beekeeping for me became important. I just want to tell you really quickly because I watched people pour. I'm a tea family. We come from a tea family, and I watched a lot of people not use honey. Use sweet and low, use, I don't know, blue packets of things and packets. What are the yellow packets, Rishma?
The yellows are the Splenda.
Yes. Oh, God, help us all.
It's the Splenda. I have to confess, I have some stevia packets in my house that I use now because I cannot stand the honey that we do have. Okay. And I never went back to try to get something else.
Let's link up. I'll make sure you get some raw honey, some Great Spirit raw honey. So something else about honey. Oh, wait. Okay. Beekeeping. I just want to touch base on that.
Yes.
So seeing people use sugar all my life and feeling that I'm an athlete. So I watched how my body was affected by sugar and I didn't like it. And then I just started gardening really young. I like gardening. I like being outdoors and seeing the bees and seeing the butterflies and like going into a tree and seeing cone, like actually seeing it. It's amazing to actually see and taste. So when I got old enough and understood that I could actually make a difference, like really make a difference in the world too, just by having bees, it was an opportunity, an absolute opportunity to link with apiaries and learn about, bee culture. And it's a real culture.
Yeah, that for sure. I know. I remember, I believe it was a few years ago when there was a scare that there wasn't enough honeybees around. It might have been about 2 years ago or so. And it became like a worldwide issue. And so they were trying to figure out how do we preserve these honeybees? What can we do to save the bees? I remember the hashtag Save the Bees campaigns. Yes, indeed. So you actually harvest this honey that you're selling, right?
Right, yes. So right now, 3 years ago, things kind of halted for me, right? Because I was in a brace and wasn't really able to do much. So I had linked with a few apiaries in South Florida, and they were kind enough to actually harvest for me because I can't harvest anymore. And now, yes. So it's still my honey.
It's right.
I just have people. I have worker bees. I have worker bees.
that makes you the queen bee.
Yes, I'm the
right.
Queen.
That makes you the queen bee.
Yes.
How fantastic. And I can tell you right now, I want to try the honey. I want to try the stress one. I feel like I need the stress one. I definitely want to try the one with the upper respiratory infection because I've struggled with that my entire life since I was
upper respiratory?
Asthma, upper respiratory issues. Okay. And as I get, I'm getting way too personal for a radio show, but as I get stressed out, at least this is what the doctors tell me. As my stress increases, it triggers my upper respiratory infection.
Your bronchioles, which is common, just so you know.
That's always been my thing.
Are you on an inhaler?
I don't use it now, but when I was younger, I was. So that's always been my sort of the thing that triggers in my body. You know, when you're stressed out, the weakest part of your
Absolutely.
body gets triggered. And for me,
Absolutely.
that's the upper respiratory issues.
Mhm,
I even did a
mhm.
couple of our shows for my for the Mind in Your Business show. I've done a couple of shows with me muting so I can cough because I
Really?
came down with something really bad. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Thank goodness it
Okay.
wasn't COVID, but it's just one of those things where every time you're for me, when I get
Yes.
very stressed
Yes.
out, my weakest
Mhm.
part of my body is that upper respiratory area. So it triggers some sort of
Yes. Mhm.
imbalance. So
Sure.
I'm very interested in trying that one.
Excellent.
And
Excellent.
so I'm just, putting it out there because I know
Thank you.
you're gonna
Thank
tell
you.
our listeners how they can at least I want them to first be able to talk to you because
Okay.
they can let you know what it is that their issues are, because maybe you
Absolutely.
can make the suggestions on what they can use, or let them know. Again, I mean, we're running out of time. I haven't even asked you any of my questions, but I want you to let them know where they can find these products.
Sure.
Definitely the elixirs.
Okay. So, and if you'd like to reach into me, my phone number is 305-917-3467. That is oceanmovement.com. That's my email address. And then you can find me on Facebook at Ocean Movement Inc. And you can reach into me at Great Spirit Honey.
Can you
My
say that?
website will be available for your viewing April 30th. You can look for April 30th, and it will be Ocean Movement Presents Being Healthy at Home.
Can you say that number one more
Yes,
time?
www.beinghealthyatHome.com.
And that's oceanmovement@gmail.com, guys.
Yes.
At gmail.com.
Sorry about that. Yes.
So you can get in contact with Oshun. You can talk to her. She'll be so happy to talk to you, try to help you out, and suggest some of the products that she has personally cultivated. She's not vouching for other people who have done things. This is what she has done. She has put in the hard work over the 3 years. And now that we have a few minutes, I'll at least get to one of my questions that I had for you.
Sure.
Since this is a show about business and entrepreneurs, I definitely wanted to ask you, two questions I'll ask you. The first thing is, how has your experience been in starting up your business and getting your startup business, getting your incorporations done, getting your word out there, getting your products together, just generally as an entrepreneur? How has that experience been for you?
Really, I was a really great student, I have to say, because I thought that I had the information initially, I really did. And I had to be a student. I had to be a student to learn all over again what it takes to not just have I have the fortitude, I have the knowledge, but to actually structure it in a business. It wasn't as easy as I thought. And definitely had to align myself with people who had more knowledge than I did, for sure. So I was initially, an LLC, and then realized that I wasn't able to reach the masses like I wanted to with my services. So then I became a nonprofit. And then, going through, I really enjoyed going through the process of understanding how the business and regulation department, categorizes you. That was kind of interesting for me, to see and to find out, taxes, what taxes are what, and what you're eligible for. And I think that for me, also the transformation for myself in my own life, my business has improved and increased. As I have improved and increased as an individual, my business has increased and improved.
So mentorship has been a big part of your getting started up, because we want to give some advice to people who are listening.
Absolutely. No, absolutely.
One of the things they can do. So we talked in some of our episodes before about how important it is to have mentorship.
Yes.
When you're getting into
and
business.
Guidance.
And exactly. So that seems like that's something that you really benefited from as well, is the mentorship of others who have gone through this process, or at least know about the process, so that they can provide that guidance that you would need. And
I think also I just want to say one thing also is initially, being an entrepreneur that with a vision, and then I think sometimes people aren't on the same page you're on. and they want to guide you to what their vision for you is, or for what their traditions or for what their limitations are. So for me, it was really staying true to the Oshun vision and Oshun movement.
And having your plan that you want to
Yes.
execute. You're
Yes.
absolutely right about that, because you will get a lot of people telling you you can take different directions, maybe something that you would see as easier
Yes.
versus what you actually want to do. And we talked in some of our episodes as well, previous episodes, about having your specific plan of what you want to do so that you can go ahead and execute that. I guess the only other question I would ask you is, what advice would you have for those starting up, it maybe even younger entrepreneurs, someone who's been in the business for a while but doesn't know how to make, or is hesitant to make that jump from working in an industry to having their own thing and having their own business? What advice, as and you've been working on your products for 3 years, you're
Sure.
relaunching certain things, you've
Sure.
been in this industry for a while. What advice would you give to listeners out there that are just, they have a great product too or a service, but they just can't seem to make that jump?
Honestly, Rishma, it took a lot of courage to step out on faith. I mean, I would have to say that, because I was in corporate America, for years, and decided that,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a risk. It's a risk. And if you're going to, you have to be willing to invest in yourself. You have to be willing to invest in yourself. And that means time, that means finances, that may mean, removing some outside resource or outside sources that are, dimming your light. You really need to make sure that you're ready to invest in yourself. I think that's the biggest thing. And having and being clear on what your vision is, being clear on what your mission statement is.
Indeed, indeed,
Yeah.
indeed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm listening. I'm just reading a text
Sure.
message from one of our listeners.
Sure.
Question is for me and you, and they say they have a testimony for you as well. I guess one of your fans is out there listening to the show today.
Wonderful.
But they're saying here, wow, it's a couple of paragraphs long. Lisa, do we have time to go through this?
I did.
This question?
I did. I think the first paragraph is just the question. They said, when can we set up the legal online live?
I can't really hear you. You have to be a little bit louder.
When can we set up the legal online live live well cooperative that is squeaky clean with the IRS and weaves the gaps and uses the loopholes for the same tax advantages as those that co-created the health insured illness care profits insured system?
Wow. Isn't that a mouthful of a question?
I don't, honestly, I would like to have you, I don't know that I have the answer to that question.
I don't think that I do too. I think that, I think what Oshun is doing is brave, because there is this, like you said, the big pharma and big medicine. Those are ginormous, Goliaths within the US system as it is. So in terms of when is it possible, the optimistic part of me wants to say that hopefully soon that we can sort of have a parallel, a parallel system where you can be having the preventative side be just as big as the reactionary side, I should call it.
Yes. Yes.
And but in terms of when is that going to, when we can have this entire, maybe I'm not understanding your question, listener, but I'm thinking you mean when can we have a system that's set up with like all the loopholes with the IRS and everything, and we can take advantage of the preventative side of this?
Yeah.
Hopefully in the future is all I can say. And if I'm not understanding your question, go ahead and send it to info@mybshow.com. I will make sure that Oshun gets it, or contact her, or contact her directly and at oshunmovement@gmail.com, and she'll be able to maybe ask a follow-up to see what it is that you're really trying to ask, and then we can make sure that your question gets answered.
Oshun, can you say your phone number one more time, please?
Yes. 305-917-3467.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
In terms of, you said earlier in the show about medicine is a business, and we know that the pharmaceutical company is in the business of maintaining as opposed to curing, and you are in the business of curing, essentially.
Yes.
Have you received any pushback from, big pharma or anyone in alignment with their ideologies?
At this time, I'm happy to say no.
Okay.
I definitely have kept myself well protected thus far and under the radar. So again, launching April 30th,
I was
we
going to
shall
say,
see.
as you launch and
Yes,
as your company starts to get traction for
yes,
some of the claims, all I can say from, I mean, I'm not giving you personal legal advice, but I'm saying in a general sense that, you would want to have, if you're in this type of business, claims, if there's a backlash with, well, how can you claim that this thing is the way that it is? It seems that you have under your belt a lot of research.
I
It seems
do.
that you
Yeah,
have a lot of I mean, you've basically spelled out everything that's within your elixirs, what their benefits are, and the research that pertains to that specific elixir. But that's the only, that's the sort of backlash I would see that would come your way from as Lisa mentions, the big pharma, big medicine takedown. They're going to
absolutely.
say, how is it that you're saying that this thing can
Right.
prevent this
Do this.
disease?
Right,
Yeah.
right,
How are you
right.
saying this? What makes you
So,
come to that
so how I'm
conclusion?
saying this is anyone, any doctor, any pharmaceutical company, anyone, you, me, my granddaughter, can
Mm-hmm.
go online and look up what hibiscus is
Mm-hmm.
and look up the benefits. Just as easily as I'm telling you, there's not going to be any contradiction
Mm-hmm.
because I couldn't do that. I would not. I'm a preventable disease specialist. My goal and my mission and my vision is to drastically reduce preventable diseases and diseases. The only way that I can do that is to, in the highest integrity and the highest quality ingredient, be able
Absolutely.
to make it palatable so that people can consume it and make it affordable.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think, Lisa, we'll see, when you launch and like I said, you gain some traction and you
Yes, we
start getting your
shall see.
messaging out there. We shall see, but we're not afraid
No, we're not.
because this is Ushun's entire industry that she's been in for decades. So this is not something that she woke up last week and said, hey, you know what? I'm going to put together some elixirs. No, this is something that
Right.
she's worked on for a very long time and has done the
Exactly.
research and it is given the community the benefit of her years of research and expertise.
Thank you, Rishma.
And with that said, I know we're past our time a little bit, Lisa, and you have to move to your next show, but I will bring you back on after your launch. Let's say a month or
Thank
two
you.
after your
Yes,
launch,
thank you so
and then
much.
we can go from there and we can talk about maybe more entrepreneurial questions that I had for
Great,
you. But this
great.
is great to have the first introduction where you can talk about your products because we all want to be a part of your launch. I will definitely patronize you
I appreciate it
because I
greatly.
can
Thank
see some
you.
of those elixirs even before you were on the show. I was interested in some of them that I wanted
Thank you.
to patronize you. And for our listeners out there, you know, be on board with the launch. And as you start launching, keep in contact with us as the
Yes,
radio
thank you. I
station as
will.
well.
I certainly
And
will. Thank you,
we
Lisa.
we want to make sure
You're
that we
welcome.
can get you on after the launch and
Thank you.
that we, of course, we can help you in any way we can. And Lisa, just so you know, Oshun and I, we have a mutual friend who Priscilla Dames.
Yes.
I have to give a big
Awesome.
shout out to Priscilla.
Thank you,
Priscilla is a
Priscilla.
friend of our show. She's been on twice already.
Yes.
Great person. And I just want to say thank you to her for
Yes.
exposing a network of wonderful women or fabulous women, I should
Yes,
say.
fabulous women. Thank
Fabulous
you.
women that we can get together and support each other and support our businesses. So thank you, Priscilla. You get a shout out from me and Rashun today.
Yes, thank you, Priscilla.
My bottom line today, even though we didn't talk a lot about the entrepreneurial side of the business, my bottom line today is my takeaway from Rashun is that her passion, definitely her passion for the business that she's in, the research that goes behind what she does, and definitely staying on course for her vision of her business. And if you have a business and you have a vision for your business and a plan for your business, make sure that you work towards it Make sure that everything that you have is invested towards that business, because success comes when you're minding your business.
Yes, that's so
Yes,
true.
it does. Yes,
Thank
it
you.
does. Thank you,
Thank you so much,
Rishma.
Oshun. Thank you. We'll
Thank
bring you
you,
back
Lisa.
after your
Thank
lunch.
you.
After
The
your lunch.
content on
Appreciate
Mind
you.
in Your Business is for informational and educational purposes only and should not be construed as specific legal advice. This show discusses general legal issues affecting business owners. Opinions of the guests are not necessarily that of the show. If you need assistance with your specific legal issue, please consult with a licensed attorney. The content on Mind in Your Business is for
Find out how you can own your own piece of Florida today through a one-of-a-kind special pre-planned housing program with only $3,000 down and $226 a month. No credit check,